So, in the fourth chapter of ninth canto, we were discussing. Yesterday, we discussed 18, 19, 20, the shloka where we were discussing the glories of Maharaj Ambrish. How Maharaj Ambrish was engaging all his senses in the service of Krishna. How he was engaging his mind, his eyes, his ears, his nose, and his tongue, everything. Okay, his desires. So that was the yesterday's discussion. And today, in the same discussion further, we are going to discuss that how Maharaj Ambrish being engaged in the service of Krishna, and at the same time he was ruling the world. Okay, so that is the 21 shloka. एवं सदा कर्म कलापम आत्मनः परेदि यज्ञे भगवती अदोक्षजे सर्वात्म भावं विदधन् महीम् इमां तन्निष्ठ विप्राभिहितः सशासः. Evam thus, living a devotional life, sada, always, karma kalapam, the prescribed occupational duties as a Kshatriya king. Atmana, of himself personally, the head of the state, pare, unto the supreme transcendence, adi yagye, unto the supreme proprietor, the supreme enjoyer, bhagavati, unto the supreme personality of Godhead, adokshaje, unto him who is beyond material sense perception, sarva atma bhavam, all different varieties of devotional service, vidadhat, executing, offering, Mahim, the planet Earth, Imam, this Tatnishta, who are faithful devotees of the Lord, Vipra, by such Brahmanas, Abhihita, directed Sashas, ruled her in the past. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In performing his prescribed duties as king, Maharaj Ambrish always offered the results of his royal activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the enjoyer of everything and is beyond the perception of material senses. Adokshaje, he certainly took advice from Brahmanas who were faithful devotees of the Lord, and thus he ruled the planet Earth without difficulty. Okay, that was the way of Maharaj Ambrish was ruling the world, being engaged in the service of Krishna, performing evam vidadham karma kalapam, performing devotional acts, sada, daily. How? Sarvatma bhavam means with great affection, with great love. Sarvatma bhavam. You can see the shloka text. Okay. And atmanaha, by his mind and senses. To whom? Bhagavati adokshaje, to the Supreme Lord, adoksha or Krishna. So, why? Because pare adhiyagye, whose worship is superior to other processes, because worship to adoksha is superior to all other processes. Pare adhiyagye, among all the processes, the supreme most process is worship to adoksha Krishna. Pare adhiyagye. And then Imam Mahim Sashashaha, he also ruled the world. Okay, how? Nishta Vipra Abhihitaha, taking advice from devotees Brahmanas. Tad Nishta Vipra Abhihita. Tad Nishta Vipra. The devotees of Krishna, those Brahmanas who are devotee of Krishna, he was taking advice from them and he was ruling the whole world. So that was the ideal king. Because kings are Kshatriyas. So they are supposed to take advice from devotees Brahmanas and rule the world. Some issue is there in the kingdom, some problem is there, some happiness is there, whatever, how to act on this situation, that a king will take suggestion from a devotee Brahmin, and then he will guide, and accordingly king will take action. That's the way of Vedic system. So, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5:29, Bhoktaram yagya tapsam sarvaloka maheshwaram sarvabhutatma gyatva mam shantim rikshati. People are very much anxious to live in peace and prosperity in this material world. And here in Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is given personally by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone should understand that. What Krishna is saying? Gyatva mam shantim richati. Sarvabhutatma gyatva mam shantim. If somebody understands this fact, then he will attain peace. So Prabhupada is saying this is the peace formula given by Krishna himself, God himself. Because everybody in the whole world nowadays, they want peace, prosperity, peace formula, peace talk. Many nations come together and they do Shanti Varta. So, but here it is the peace formula given by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita. Here in Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is given personally by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone should understand that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the ultimate proprietor of all the planets, one thing, and is therefore the enjoyer of all activities, number two, political, social, cultural, religious, economic, and so on. So if we understand these things, then we attain peace. The Lord has given perfect advice in Bhagavad Gita, and Ambrish Maharaj, as the ideal executive head, ruled the entire world as a Vaishnava, taking advice from Vaishnava Brahmanas. Okay. So, ideal king is like this. Okay. We also heard and read in the 4th canto about ideal king in the character of Prithu Maharaj, right? The Shastras enjoin that even though a Brahman may be well versed in the occupational Brahmanical duties and may be very learned in Vedic knowledge, he cannot give advice as a guru until he is a Vaishnava. Okay, so a Brahman may be very learned, but if he is not a Vaishnava, he cannot give advice as a guru. Sat karma nipuno vipramantra tantra visharadaha avaishnava gururna syad vaishnava swapacho guru. Very nice sloka. Therefore, as indicated here by the words tannishta vipravhitaha. Okay, so there may be a Vipra, a Brahman who is very nipuna in Sat Karma. Sat Karma nipuno Vipro mantra tantra visharadaha avaishnavo guru nasyad vaishnava swapacho guru. But even though he is very expert in all the Sat Karma activities, but if he is not a Vaishnava, he cannot be guru. But even though a Swapacha, a Chandal, but if he is born in a Chandal family, but he is a great Vaishnava, he is a Vaishnava, then he can be guru. Therefore, as indicated here by the words Tannishta Vipra Vihita, Maharaj Ambrish took advice from Brahmanas who were pure devotees of the Lord. For ordinary Brahmanas who are merely learned scholars or experts in performing ritualistic ceremonies are not competent to give advice. So Maharaj Ambrish was not taking advice from any Brahman. He was taking advice only from the Vaishnavas, Brahmanas who are devotee of Krishna. Yes? In modern times, there are legislative assemblies. Okay, Prabhupada is bringing everything in the present scenario. Very important to understand. In modern times, there are legislative assemblies whose members are authorized to make laws for the welfare of the state. But according to this description of the kingdom of Maharaj Ambrish, The country of the world should be ruled by a chief executive whose advisors are all devotees. One king, and he takes advice from devotee of Krishna. Okay, not like modern days. Nobody is devotee of Krishna and all come put together in the assembly and they whatever is maximum vote, that is sanctioned. Not like that. Okay, so such advisors or members of the legislative assembly should not be professional politicians. They should not be, nor should they be selected by the ignorant public. Public is ignorant and they will select anybody, and that's what is happening practically. Every year, every time they select somebody, and then the 5 years they cry, this guy is waste. Then next time they select another one, and same thing goes on. So rather they should be appointed by the king. Okay. When the king, the executive head of the state, is a devotee and he follows the instruction of devotee Brahmanas in ruling the country, everyone will be peaceful and prosperous. When the king and his advisors are perfect devotees, nothing can be wrong in the state. Very nice. All the citizens should become devotees of the Lord, and then their good character will automatically follow. Simple thing. If king is very nice devotee, he will act very nicely and all the citizens will follow him. Yasyasti bhagavati bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunestatra samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahat guna manorathena sati dhavato vahi. Very famous shloka. Prabhupada brings this many times. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. Okay, he had Tatra Samasate Sura. He had Sarvair Gunes Tatra Samasate Sura. He has all the good qualities of demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. So if somebody is devotee of Krishna, it is considered that he has all the good qualities like demigods, devatas. But if somebody is not a devotee of Krishna, then whatever qualification he will have, they all will be material and they will have very less value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. So today he may look very nice, but because he is talking and doing everything on the mental plane, one day he will be trapped in Maya. That's how it happened. During marriage, love marriage, they are very close, they are very loyal to each other, but no, both of them are not devotee of Krishna. So when the time changes, they cheat each other. They even take divorce. How? Because of this. Because they are on material platform. That's why anytime Maya can take them. Okay. Citizens under the guidance of a Krishna conscious king will become devotees, and there will be no need to enact new laws every day to reform the way of life in the state. That's a very simple thing. If king is a devotee of Krishna, automatically he will make such a system that all the public will engage in devotional service and everybody will become devotee. Okay. And then there won't be much effort that every day you have to make new law and so much police and all these things. Everything will be peaceful because everybody is devotee, so nobody will disturb another one. Nobody will do harm, sinful act. People will be happy and everybody will be engaged in bhakti, so they will not have much time to do other disturbances. Right? That's the point. But if the citizens, so same thing can be applied, not even if we are not, means we may think what is the point here for us, because anyway this thing cannot come. But still, if you think on a small aspect, then in a family also it is the same thing. If the head of the family is devotee of Krishna, automatically everybody will become devotee of Krishna. Okay. If a head of the devotee is a drunkard or a bad person, sinful person, criminal, then children also will learn same thing automatically. Okay. So, like if parents, father and mother are doctors, then child will learn lot of things just like that. Lot of terminologies and lot of instrument, everything he will know by birth itself. So many things he will know in childhood. This is that, this is that. Okay. So this is the thing. So if head of the family or head of the nation, head of the society, if they are devotee of Krishna, the followers or the subordinates will automatically become devotee of Krishna. Okay, so that's what Prabhupada is saying here. That citizens under the guidance of a Krishna conscious king will become devotee, and then there will be no need to enact new laws every day to reform the way of life in the state. If the citizens are trained to become devotees, they will automatically become peaceful and honest. And if they are guided by a devoted king, advised by devotees, devoted king, and he also advised by devotees, the state will not be in the material world but in the spiritual world. All the states of the world should therefore follow the ideal of the rule or administration of Maharaj Ambrish as described here. Very nice. Such a nice solution for the present problem. Yes. 22. ईजे स्वमेधैर अधियज्ञम् ईश्वरं महाविभूत्योपचति चितांग दक्षिणै ततैर्वसिष्ठासित गौतमादिभिर् धन्वनी अभिश्रोतम् असौ सरस्वतीम्. Ije worshipped Ashwamedhai by performing the horse sacrifice yajnas Adi Yagyam to satisfy the master of all the yagyas, Ishram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavibhutya, with great opulence, Upachit Anga Dakshinai, with all desired paraphernalia and contributions of Dakshina to the Brahmanas. Tatai executed Vasisht, Asit, Gautama, Adivi by such Brahmanas as Vasisht, Asit, and Gautama, Dhanvani in the desert, Avishrotam, inundated by the water of the river, Asau, Maharaj Ambrish, Saraswatim, on the bank of the Saraswati. Translation. In desert countries where there flowed the river Saraswati, Maharaj Ambrish performed great sacrifices like the Ashwamedh Yajna and thus satisfied the master of all yajnas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such sacrifices were performed with great opulence and suitable paraphernalia and with contribution of Dakshina to the Brahmanas, who were supervised by great personalities like Vasishtha, Asit, and Gautama, represented the king, the performer of the sacrifice. Okay, so Maharaj Ambrish performed various yajnas, and he performed yajnas even in deserts. When one performs ritualistic sacrifices as prescribed in the Vedas, one needs expert Brahmanas. Very important. Expert Brahmanas known as Yajnik Brahmanas. In Kali Yuga, however, there is a scarcity of such Brahmanas. There is no such Brahmanas, qualified Yajnik Brahmanas. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, the sacrifice recommended in Shastra is Sankirtan Yajna. Yajyahi Sankirtana Prayir Yajantihi Sumedasa. This fire sacrifice is not recommended in Kali Yuga. What sacrifice is recommended? Sankirtan. Okay, Sankirtan Yajna. Yajna Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedasa. Instead of spending money unnecessarily on performing yajnas, impossible to perform in this age of Kali because of the scarcity of Yagic Brahmanas. One who is intelligent performs Sankirtan Yajna. Okay? No need to spend so much money. And anyway, it is performing such yajnas are impossible because those qualified Yagic Brahmanas are not there in Kali Yuga. Without properly performed yajnas to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there will be scarcity of rain. Yajnat bhavati parjanya. Therefore, the performance of yajna is essential. If there is no yajna, rain will not come. So yajna has to be performed. So without yajna, there will be scarcity of rain, and because of this scarcity, no food grains will be produced, and there will be famines. So it is the duty of the king, therefore, to perform different types of yajnas, such as the Ashwamedh yajna, to maintain the production of food grains. Annat bhavati bhutani. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Without food grains, both men and animals will starve. Therefore, yajna is necessary for the state to perform, because by yajna the people in general will be fed sumptuously. The Brahmanas and Yagic priests should be sufficiently paid for their expert service. This payment is called Dakshina. Okay. So, Amrish Maharaj, as the head of the state, performed all these yajnas through great personalities like Vasishtha, Gautam and Asit. Personally, however, he was engaged in devotional service, as mentioned before, Savai Mana Krishna Padarvindayo. The king or head of state must see that things go on well under proper guidance, and he must be an ideal devotee, as exemplified by Maharaj Amrish. It is the duty of the king to see that food grains are produced even in desert countries, what to speak of elsewhere. So Amrish Maharaj, even though he himself was engaged fully in the service of Krishna, in the devotional service of Krishna, he was fully engaged. But still, he did other kind of yajnas in order to teach the public that, because all the people in the public, in the citizens, in the country may not be at that level. So that for them, what is the prescribed duties they must do. So Amrish Maharaj performed yajnas, first thing. Second thing, he also, when he performed yajna, so yajna is done by the help of Yagic Brahmanas. So he was giving them enough dakshina. Okay, so enough dakshina should be given to the these Yagic Brahmanas. But in Kali Yuga, these Yagic Brahmanas, the pure qualified Brahmin is not available at present age. Okay, so it's not at all possible in Kali Yuga. So when these Brahmanas are not available, they are not able to chant the mantras. Okay, so these kind of yajnas not possible to be performed. So what is the solution? So solution is also given in the Bhagavatam. Yajnai Sankirtana Prayayir Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. So Kali Yuga means you don't do fire sacrifice, you do Sankirtan Yajna. Yajnai Sankirtana Prayayir. One has to perform Sankirtan Yajna. Okay, and one should take help if they need. If they don't know, anyway, Sankirtan is very, very easy. Just you have to chant Krishna's name. So that's what devotee of Krishna is teaching others. You do Sankirtan. Okay, so that's how in Kali Yuga Krishna is pleased. So when this Sankirtan Yajna will happen, because other Yajna is not allowed, is not possible. So Sankirtan Yajna has to be done in Kali Yuga. Because one cannot say anyway I will not do any Yajna then. No, Yajna has to be performed, because from Yajna rain will come, from rain grains will come, and grain is the source of life for men and women. So yajnas are important, but in Kali Yuga fire sacrifice, that kind of yajna is not possible. So one has to do Sankirtan yajna. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kalu nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. There is no other way, only we have to do Sankirtan yajna, right? So, and Prabhupada is saying that this Brahmanas and Yagic priests should be sufficiently paid for the expert services. So devotees also means if you take help and guidance, then guru is teaching in like your guru will teach you how to do sankirtan, how to chant holy name, so dakshina can be given. Okay, so that's the point. Actually guru dakshina and worship to guru, this is very important part, है ना? So because if we learn something and we don't give something in return, then that knowledge will not stay with us. Okay, so some service should be done to the guru and some dakshina should be given. Guru should be pleased. Okay, so worship should be done. Guru puja, that's why they do. Okay, every day in ISKCON temple we all do Srila Prabhupada Guru puja. So we should do that. Service, we should ask Guru, how can we serve? We should serve. Because if we don't do that, anything in return, what will happen? That knowledge does not stay with us for long. We cannot utilize that knowledge much. So we have to do that also. We have to serve Guru, we have to give some dakshina. In return, we should give something. Okay, so that's the point here. Okay. Yasya krtushu girvanai sadasya ritvijojana tulya rupas chanimisha vyadrishyanto suvasasaha. Yasya of whom Maharaj Ambrish, krtushu in sacrifices performed by him, girvanai with the demigod, sadasya members for executing the sacrifice, ritvija the priest, jana and other expert men, tulya rupa appearing exactly like Cha, and animisha with unblinking eyes like those of the demigods, vyadrishyanta being seen, suvasasaha well dressed with valuable garments. In the sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Ambrish, the members of the assembly and the priest, especially Hota, Udgata, Brahma and Advaryu, were gorgeously dressed, and they all looked exactly like demigods. They eagerly saw to the proper performance of the yajna. Okay, so here these Brahmins are also not some simple, they are also taking care of that things are happening, yajnas are happening properly. And another thing, as I said in the previous sloka, it is mentioned that when we learn something from Guru, we should give some dakshina and all. But a Guru should not teach for this purpose. That I will get dakshina, so I should do some knowledge, I should give some class, or I should teach others, and I should have a big Gurukul, or so that a lot of students will be there, they will give a lot of money and I will become rich. It's not like that. Okay, so Guru will teach as service of Krishna, he will teach, but he will not expect anything in return. Like he will accept dakshina because that's the process in order to complete the education. So he has to accept dakshina. So he accepts dakshina, but he is not, the idea is not like that teaching others is a means of livelihood or like that, or like that. Okay, that should not be the case. So teaching Bhagavatam and all for money is not good. Okay, and that Bhagavatam is not useful. Okay, because that person who is teaching, who is reciting Bhagavat, they will do, many people comes and do Bhagavatam 7 days and all for money. So that will not change much, that will not do much change in our consciousness. Yeah. Of course, there will be some sukruti because we are hearing Bhagavatam, but that because hearing from some abhakta is not very good. Because if you see, like Prabhupada used to say that if you hear if you drink milk from a pot on the mouth of the pot poison is there, then that even though it is inside milk, but when you drink you will die. So even though Krishna Katha, but if you hear from non-devotees, it's very dangerous. Okay, so always one should hear from the devotee of Krishna. Katha, if you want to hear, we should always hear from the devotee of Krishna. That's the complete process, not from any other non-devotee. Okay. 24. स्वर्गो न प्रार्थितो यस्य मनुजैर अमर प्रियः शृण्वद्भिर उपगायद्भिर उत्तम श्लोक चेष्टितम्. Swarga, life in the heavenly planets, not prarthitah, a subject for aspiration, yasya, of whom Ambrish Maharaj Manujai, by the citizens, Amar Priyaha, very dear even to the demigods, Shinwadbhi, who were accustomed to hear, Upagayadbhi, and accustomed to chant, Uttam Shloka of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chestitam, about the glorious activities. The citizens of the state of Maharaj Ambrish were accustomed to chanting and hearing about the glorious activities of the personality of Godhead. Thus they were aspired to be elevated to the heavenly planets, which are extremely dear even to the demigods. A pure devotee who has been trained in the practice of chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord and his fame, qualities, form, paraphernalia, and so on, is never interested in any elevation to the heavenly planets, even though such places are extremely dear even to the demigods. Swarga planet. Many people in India thinks if we do this thing we will go Swarga. They want to go to Swargalok. But a devotee of Krishna never want to go to Swargalok. He is not even attracted towards Swargalok, even though demigods are attracted towards Swargaloka. Yes. नारायण परा सर्वेण कुतश्चन बिभ्यति सर्वगाप वर्ग नरकेश्वापि तुल्यार्थ दर्शिनः. Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. Those people, those devotees who are engaged in the service of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they never fear any condition of life. The heavenly planets, Swarga, the heavenly planets, liberation, and the hellish planets, all are the same to a devotee. For a devotee, these things are same. Okay, whether it is heavenly planet, whether it is hellish planet, and that is liberation. Okay, Narayana parasarvena kutaschan bibhyati sarvag apavarga narakeshwapi tulyartha darshina. Everything is equal. For a devotee of Krishna who is engaged in the devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. Okay, so a devotee of Krishna who is engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, Krishna, he is not at all attracted towards heavenly planets. A devotee is always situated in the spiritual world. Therefore, he does not desire anything. Because he is already situated in the spiritual world, he does not desire anything. He is known as akama or desireless, because he has nothing to desire except to render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His only desire is this, that I want to be engaged in the service of Krishna. That is the only desire a devotee has. Okay, because Maharaj Ambrish was a most exalted devotee of the Lord, he trained his subjects in such a way that the citizens in his estate were not interested in anything material, including even the happiness of the heavenly planets. So you see, just king was a pure devotee of Krishna, so citizens also became devotee of Krishna, and they are not even interested to go heavenly planets. Such a high class devotees are there in the citizens of Maharaj Ambrish. संवर्धयन्ति यत्कामा स्वराज्य परिभाविता दुर्लभानापि सिद्धानां मुकुन्दं हृदि पश्यतः. Samvardhayanti, increase happiness, yet because kama, such aspirations, swarajya, situated in his own constitutional position of rendering service to the Lord, paribhavita, saturated with such aspiration, durlabha, very rarely obtained, na, not, api, also siddhanam, of the great mystic Mukundam, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hirdi, within the core of the heart, pashyata, persons always accustomed to seeing him. Those who are saturated with the transcendental happiness of rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead are uninterested even in the achievements of great mystics, for such achievements do not enhance the transcendental bliss felt by a devotee who always think of Krishna within the core of his heart. Okay, the material pleasures which surpass those of Swarga, Swarajya Paribhavita Kama, those material pleasures which are even higher than Swarga, Swarajya Paribhavita Kama, and Siddhanam Api Durlabham, Siddhanam Api Durlabha, and very rare even for the Siddhas, did not, na Samvardyanti, did not give the citizens bliss. Even though they are higher than the pleasure of Swarga and desired, even very rarely achieved by even Siddhas, but those material pleasures did not give the citizens bliss because Yat Mukundam Hirdi Pashyata, because they saw Mukunda in their hearts. These are the qualities of the citizens of Ambarish Maharaj's kingdom. They were not at all attracted by very high class material pleasures. What kind of? Those pleasures were even higher, top, even more better, more pleasurable than the pleasures of Swargaloka. But still, they could not give any happiness, any bliss to the citizens of Ambarish Maharaj's kingdom. Why? Because Yat Mukundam Hridhi Pashyata, because they were seeing Lord Mukunda in their hearts. So this is the glories of Lord Mukunda. All the, once a person gets that connection with Lord Mukunda, all his taste in material pleasures is gone. Everything becomes useless, tasteless for him. So we have to see, are we on that track? Is there something which was very tasteful for us and now it is tasteless for us? At least one thing. Okay. So because the citizens saw Mukunda in their hearts, nothing else gave them pleasure. Okay. So a pure devotee is uninterested not only in elevation to the higher planetary system but even in the perfections of mystic yoga. Okay. So real perfection is devotional service, the happiness derived from merging in the impersonal Brahman, and the happiness derived from the 8 perfections of mystic yoga, Anima, Lagima, Prapti and so on, do not give any pleasure to the devotees. No Siddhi, no Mukti, nothing they want. No Siddhi, no Mukti, no Bhukti. Devotees, they don't want anything. As stated by Sri Prabhupada, as stated by Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, Kevalyam narkayate tridashpur akasha pushpayate durdanta indriya kala sarpa patali pratokhat damstrayate te vishwam purna sukhayate vidhi mahendra descha kirtatyat karuna kataksh vaibhava tam tam gauravam ev istumaha Chaitanya Chandramrit 5. When a devotee had, so this is a very nice shloka given by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, that when a devotee has achieved the position of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he thinks the impersonal Brahman to be no better than hell. Impersonal Brahman to be no better than hell, and he regards material happiness in the heavenly planets to be like a will o' the wisp. As far as the perfection of mystic power is concerned, a devotee compares it to a venomous snake with no teeth. Okay. So that is the situation of a devotee of Krishna, that even mukti looks hellish for him. He don't want all these things. And he is not at all attracted by, he is not attracted even by mukti. So what to think about other kind of siddhis and all. A mystic yogi is especially concerned with controlling the senses, but because the senses of a devotee are engaged in the service of the Lord, there is no need for separate control of the sense. So yogi is trying to control the senses, But bhakta is not trying to control the senses. Devotee is actually engaging the senses in the service of Krishna. So automatically senses are controlled. And not only controlled, but they are utilized in a best way, in a proper way. Because Rishikesh and Rishikesh Sevana Bhakti, because Indriyas are actually supposed to be engaged in the service of Rishikesha, because Rishikesha is the master of the senses. So Indriyas, senses should be engaged only in the service of Rishikesha, Krishna. So devotees' senses are already engaged in the service of Krishna, so why he has to worry about yogas and all? Okay, so yogis are worrying about controlling the senses and all. What is the need of controlling the senses? Already they are engaged here in the service of Krishna. This is like PhD level. If yogi is trying to get admission in graduation, but devotee is already on the playing in the PhD level. So, for those who are materially engaged, control of the senses is required, but a devotee's senses are all engaged in the service of the Lord, which means that they are already controlled. Param drashtvani vartate. A devotee's senses are not attracted by material enjoyment. Okay, so we have to see, are our senses are being at present at this situation. I have to check whether my senses are attracted for material enjoyment or not. If yes, then we have to do more work. We are not yet devotee. And even though the material world is full of misery, the devotee considers this material world to be also spiritual because everything is engaged in the service of the Lord. The difference between the spiritual world and material world is the mentality of service. Okay. In material world, everybody thinks that everything is for my enjoyment. And in the spiritual world, everybody thinks that everything is for the Krishna's enjoyment. And I am there to serve Krishna. Okay. So that service mentality, the change in the mentality is the difference of material world and spiritual world. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. When there is no mentality of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's activities are material. Very nice. So even a person may be working inside the temple cutting vegetables, but if his mentality is not that he is serving to Krishna, then his activity is material only. And if a person sitting inside the office and doing some official work, but his mentality is that this is service to Krishna, then his activities are spiritual. Okay. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshubhi parityago govairagyam falgu katyate. That which is not engaged in the service of the Lord is material, and nothing thus engaged should be given up. In the construction, that which is not engaged in the service of the Lord is material, and nothing thus engaged should be given up. So whatever, so in the construction of a high skyscraper and the construction of a temple, there may be the same enthusiasm, but the endeavors are different. For one is material and the other is spiritual. So a person may be building a, so both are actually buildings, big buildings, but in one the mentality is that this building is being built for the service of Krishna. So the mentality of builder is service to Krishna, but other one is for sense enjoyment. Okay, so there may be the same enthusiasm in building the skyscraper building and a temple, but the endeavors are different. Why? Because one is material and the other is spiritual. Spiritual activities should not be confused with material activities and given up. Spiritual activities should not be confused with material activities and given up. Nothing connected with Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is material. So anything is connected to Hari is not material. A devotee who considers all this is always situated in spiritual activities, and therefore is no longer attracted by material activities. Param drishtva nivartate. So when a person gets a higher engagement, he can easily leave the lower engagement. Okay. So when a devotee is who considers that all this is always situated in spiritual activity, and therefore he is no longer attracted by material activities. Okay. So though the citizens had a greater enjoyment than Swarga, they were not attached to it. The citizens of Ambrish Maharaj's kingdom. The enjoyment did not swell the bliss of his citizens. The enjoyment surpassed that of Swarga completely. or the place was endowed with bliss superior to the bliss of liberation, rare even for siddhas. The reason is given. The citizens are described. The enjoyment did not make them blissful because they saw Mukunda in their hearts. This all happened because of the influence of Ambarish Maharaj, because he was a great devotee, so all the citizens also became great devotee. Another version has Paribhavitam, then it modifies the citizens. Another version has Yam. This would refer to Ambarish. So Ambarish Maharaj was very nice devotee, and he made such arrangement in the kingdom that everybody was engaged in the service of Krishna. And now the result is given that the citizens become such elevated that this kind of highest level of material opulences could not attract them. They were attracted only towards the Shravanam and Kirtanam. Okay, the devotional service of Krishna. Okay. Okay. So this section will complete at the 28th shloka. So I think we can complete that. Yes. 26. साहित्यं भक्ति योगेन तपोयुक्तेन पार्थिवः स्वधर्मेण हरिं प्रीणन् सर्वान् कामान् शनैर्जहौ. Saha, he Ambarish Maharaj Ittam in this way Bhakti Yogena by performing transcendental loving service to the Lord. Tapa Yuktena, which is simultaneously the best process of austerity. Parthivaha, the king Swadharmena, by his constitutional activities. Harim, unto the Supreme Lord. Prinam, satisfying Sarvan, all varieties of Kaman, material desires. Shanai, gradually Jaho gave up. The king of this planet, Maharaj Ambarish, he was the king for whole planet. The king of this planet, Maharaj Ambarish, thus performed devotional service to the Lord, and in this endeavor practiced severe austerities, always satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By his constitutional activities, he gradually gave up all material desires. Okay. So, performing tapa for the Lord Krishna and engaging in bhakti, Maharaj Ambarish gradually gave up all material desires. Severe austerities in the practice of devotional service are of many varieties. For example, in worshipping the deity in the temple, there are certainly laborious activities. Shri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana Sringaratan Mandir Marjanadav. One must decorate the deity, cleanse the temple, bring water from the Ganges and Yamuna, continue the routine work, perform arati many times, prepare first class food for the deity, prepare dresses, and so on. So there are many services. In this way, one must constantly be engaged in various activities, and the hard labor involved is certainly an austerity. So much labor is there. Similarly, the hard labor involved in preaching, preparing literature, and preaching to atheistic men, and distributing literature door to door is of course an austerity. Tapo yuktena. This is a big austerity, like cooking and doing arati. So one devotee, when he did first time arati, then he understood that actually it's a big austerity. Why? Because the lamp is actually very heavy, and you have to rotate and rotate and rotate for so much time, you know. So okay, so it's a big, and clean the temple, do stitching for the Lord, and cooking, and hours together you have to stay near in the heat and keep cooking, and preparing notes for the class, giving classes, sitting for long hours and studying, and for classes sitting like speakers sit for 3 hours and keep on giving classes. So it's a big austerity, you know. So but service to Krishna. Okay. So hard labor is involved in preaching, preparing literature, preaching to atheistic men, and distributing literature door to door, going book distribution, door to door going. You know, I remember when I joined at that time, we used to go door to door. it was sometimes it is so heavy sun, sometimes rain. We have to stand in the rain in the one corner for a long time and then wait. And then sometimes it's so hot, then we will tie one cloth on the head and then we go and we distribute. And sometimes our water is finished, then some nice person will, some home we will ask water and we will drink like that. Yeah. So it's austerity, and giving lectures, sitting for 3 hours, 4 hours, and studying and preparing and like talking. So like even speaking is so much. It takes so much energy, right? So this is of course an austerity. Tapo yuktena, tapo divyam putrika. Such austerities is necessary. Yena sattvam suddhet. By such austerity in devotional service, one is purified of material existence. Kaman shaner jahu. So when one does such kind of austerities, then one becomes purified. Even getting up in the morning and chanting to 2 hours, 16 rounds, and all those things, austerity. So indeed, such austerity leads one to the constitutional position of the devotional service. So once the constitutional position is to serve Krishna, Jiva Sarupa Krishna is Krishna Nityadas, service to Krishna. So when one performs such austerities, one attains his constitutional position and starts serving Krishna. In this way, one can give up material desires, and as soon as one is freed from material desires, he is free from the repetition of birth and death, old age and disease. So when one is engaged like this in tapasya, then gradually he will have no material desires, and when there is no material desires, no next birth, and he can be freed from the clutches of Maya. Griheshu dareshu suteshu bandhushu dvikottama sendana vaji vastushu akshaya ratnabharanamba baradishva ananta kosheshva akarodh asannamatim. Griheshu, in the homes, dareshu, in wives, suteshu, in children, bandhushu, in friends and relatives, dvip uttama, in the best of powerful elephants, sendana, in the nice chariots, vaji, in first class horses, vastusu, in all such things, akshaya, whose value never decreases, ratna, in jewels, avarna, in ornaments, ambar adishu, in such dresses and ornaments, ananta kosheshu, in an inexhaustible treasury, akarot, accepted, asatmatim, no attachment. Maharaj Ambarish gave up all attachment to household affairs, wives, children, friends and relatives, to the best of powerful elephants, to beautiful chariots, carts, horses, and inexhaustible jewels, and to ornaments, garments, and in an inexhaustible treasury. He gave up attachment to all of them, regarding them as temporary and material. He just, so when a person is engaged in devotional service, he can easily give up these all things. That's why we see nowadays many people in ISKCON, they are joining and they are leaving all the big. Our Guru Maharaj Jayaprakash Swami Maharaj was a big man's son. That time, like 50-55 years back in US, his father was having like hundreds of shops, paint shops, but he left everything, So many people left. Now present situation, you see many people leaving their jobs and becoming full-time, engaging themselves in the service of Krishna. Because when they understand this thing, it's easy for them. It's not a big pain for them. Okay, so people earning lakhs of money per month, but they are able to give up everything. So that's the glories of devotional service. Anasaktasya vishyan yataram upayanjuta. Material possessions can be accepted as far as they can be used in devotional service. So that's the way. Anything which can be used in devotional service can be accepted. Anukulen Krishnanusilanam. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. In preaching, many things considered material are needed. Like we are preaching, so we have mobile, we have internet, we have laptop, we use bikes. So in preaching, everything can be accepted in the service of Krishna. So a devotee should not have any attachment for such material involvements as house, wives, children, friends and cars. Maharaj Ambarish, for example, had all such things, but he was not attached to them. So he was having everything. So a devotee is not like, so a devotee is like working in the office, having wife, children, house, star, everything is having, but he is not attached to anything. So like Maharaj Ambrish, he was ruling the whole world, but he was not attached to his opulence and everything. So that's the trick here. And one can have things and use them in the service of Krishna in the preaching work, but one should not be attached to them. This is the effect of Bhakti Yoga. That what is the effect? That he is living with wife, children, and having car, home, everything, job, money, everything, but he is not attached, and he is utilizing everything in the service of Krishna. So that's the effect of chanting Hare Krishna, serving Vaishnavas, devotional service, hearing Krishna Katha. So when a person does, so we can check, are we getting such kind of thing? If not, then we have to correct our practice of devotional service. Okay. So one who is advanced in devotional service has no attachment for material things, for sense enjoyment, but for preaching to spread the glories of the Lord, he accepts such things without attachment. So a person, actually a devotee of Krishna, is not at all attached for any material things. But when he sees that these things are needed in the service of Krishna in preaching, then he accepts those things. Okay. So that's what you see nowadays, devotees are preaching, so they have laptop, they have mobile, they have internet, and they have even vehicles and like those all things. Okay. So one who is, so that's the point here, that anasaktasya vishyani yataraham upayanjuta, everything can be used to the extent that it can be engaged in Krishna's service. Okay. That's the point here. Okay. So now one question is there, that he was engaged in the service like this, and he was serving devotees and taking guidance from the devotees of Krishna like that. Okay, all these things he was doing. So the question is that how could he defeat enemies if he acted in this way? Okay, he was a king, there may be some enemy. So how could he defeat enemies if he acted in this way? That's the point here. So that answer will come in the 28th shloka, which is the last shloka for today's discussion. Tasma adad dharischakram pratyanika bhayavaham ekanta bhakti bhavena prito bhakta virakshanam. Tasmai, unto him, Ambrish Maharaj, Adat gave Harihi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chakram, his disc. So the practical thing is coming now. Because sometimes people will say, Are, if I keep on doing bhakti like this, who will protect my family? Who will protect me? And all those things. So if we are doing nicely bhakti, then just see what is there. Okay, Chakram, his disc, Pratyanik Bhaya Avaham, the Lord's disc, which was extremely fearful to the enemies of the Lord and his devotees. Ekanta Bhakti Bhavena, because of his performing unalloyed devotional service. Ekanta Bhakti Bhavena, Pritaha, the Lord being so pleased, Bhakta Avirakshanam, for the protection of his devotees. Very nice. Pritaha, being pleased, Ekant Bhakti Bhavena. How? Being pleased by what? Ekanta Bhakti Bhavena means by the unalloyed devotional service of Maharaj Ambrish. Tasmai Hari Adat, the Supreme Lord gave to whom? Tasmai, gave to whom? To Ambrish Maharaj. Tasmai, unto to him, his disc. Chakram, what he gave? Chakram, his disc, Sudarshan Chakra. And what is the qualities of that chakra? Pratyanika Bhayavaham, is very fearful to enemies. And another quality is Bhakta Avirakshanam. For enemies, it is Pratyanika Bhayavaham. For enemies, it is very bhayanak, very dangerous, very fearful. But for Bhakta Avirakshanam, this chakra protects the devotees. Okay, so that's the thing. That Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna, being pleased with the Ekanta Bhakti Bhavan, with the unalloyed word is important, with the unalloyed devotional service of Maharaj Ambrish, Krishna gave him chakra for his protection, and that chakra is very fearful for enemies and always protects the devotees of Krishna. So Lord Krishna gave Sudarshan chakra for the protection of Maharaj Amrish. So a devotee being always engaged in the service of the Lord may not be expert in self-defense. He may not be expert in self-defense, but because a devotee fully depends, again, a devotee fully depends on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is always sure of protection by the Lord. Hari Bol. Very nice. Prahlad Maharaj said, Naivo dvije par duratya vaitarnyastvad veer gayan mahamrit magna chittaha. A devotee is always merged in the ocean of the transcendental bliss of rendering service to the Lord. He is always merged in that ocean of nectar, ocean of bliss. What bliss? Of the service of Krishna. He is serving to Krishna, doing devotional service towards Krishna. So he is getting that bliss and he is taking dip in that ocean of bliss. Therefore, he is not at all afraid of any adverse situation in the material world. The Lord also promises, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranishati. O Arjuna, you may declare to the world that the devotees of the Lord are never vanquished. Krishna is saying to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita that you declare that my devotees will not have any problem. Why he cannot say? He can also directly say, but he is saying Arjuna to say. Because if Arjuna says, that becomes the words of his devotee. So he cannot, he will always protect the word of the devotee. But his words, sometimes he may not follow only. He said, I will not take any weapon. But in order to protect the words of his devotee, he breaks his words. And then he becomes Rathanga Pani. Okay, he lifted that wheel of the chariot for killing Bhishma in order to protect the words of his devotee. Okay, so he's saying, if Arjuna says, then I will always protect the word of my devotee, and therefore I will always protect my devotees. So for the protection of the devotees, Krishna's disc, Sudarshan Chakra, is always ready. The disc is extremely fearful to the non-devotees. Pratyanika bhayavaham. Therefore, although Maharaj Amrish was fully engaged in devotional service, his kingdom was free of all fear of adversity. So this is the point here. He was fully engaged in the service of Krishna, and for protection, Krishna gave Sudarshan Chakra. So one should not be too much worried about the security and protection, but one should be only worried about unalloyed devotional service. That's the point, unalloyed devotional service. Pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti, one should do. Krishna will definitely protect. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Amrish Maharaj ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavan ki jai. So tomorrow we will enter into the next section, which is from 29 to 37, which is the next part of the story of Maharaj Amrish, where he will receive Durvasa Muni, and that fast breaking, Dwadasi fast breaking, all those pastimes will come. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can kindly ask.